Mabuhay, this is Bob from Love Beyond the Sea. I'm going to finish this two-part video topic about deal breakers when seeking a Filipina. I got kind of interrupted the last time, so I'm going to pick up where I left off and then go into some more. Please subscribe to Love Beyond the Sea. This is a channel about dating and marriage to a woman from the Philippines like I did, but this advice can be applied in many different marriage situations between a man and a woman. Internationally, there are some differences you need to consider, and we talk about a lot of those here. Now, let's continue a deal breaker. How about this one? I got Sky here, wanting my chocolate, and as you know, chocolate is not good for puppy dogs. So, another deal breaker. How about this one? She is dead set on obtaining citizenship in your country. She wants to be there. She'll come to America or Australia or wherever, but really not interested in being a citizen. Some men might think her getting a citizenship is a sign she will leave him, right? She gets a citizenship. Why does she need that? You know, she has me. She has a lot of good situations here. And so they say, well, if she gets a citizenship, I've heard this many times myself, directed to me, she's going to leave you. My wife has a citizenship, by the way, and she has not left me. She's had it for a few years now. But other men, they will feel slighted and offended when they tell them to get a citizenship, and that it's ignored. You know, she has her reasons for not being a citizen, and the man gets frustrated because, you know, you playing games or something. Why wouldn't you get a citizenship here? You know, you have pride in your country and you want her but to be a citizen, but she might not want to do that. You might want to discuss this ahead of time, because it can be a very agonizing decision for a Filipina to temporarily surrender their dear Philippine citizenship. Now, in America, I don't know about other countries, to become a U.S. citizen, you have to, I want to say forsake, but that's too strong a word, relinquish your Philippine citizenship, but you can get it back. You have to go to the embassy and travel there and become a dual citizen. I think it's totally silly. I don't understand why they don't make you a dual right away, but they have to give it up. And that's a very emotional thing for some women. My wife balked for a couple years because she said, I don't want to give up. I don't feel good about giving up my Philippine citizenship. Even though she knew you could get it back, she just didn't like the sound of that idea. So just something for you to think about if you haven't gotten into that kind of discussion with a Filipina that you are interested in. And some more deal breakers since I'm continuing here. Oh boy, here's a big one for us. I didn't know about this at the time. Early bird, night owl. Now, when I worked for 40 years, same company, roughly the same hours, as much overtime as I could. And when I left, retired, the overtime on weekends, I have to get up about 2:30. Otherwise, get up at 4:30 or 5, depending on the start time, which I thought was great because I tried to wear myself out during the day, and by 9 o'clock, I didn't want much to do with anything. Go to bed and sleep. It was a wonderful situation. Till I got married and found out my wife is not like that. She's a night owl. She prefers to work second shift whenever possible, and because she just feels more alive later on. Just the opposite of me. You might, you know, snicker and chuckle and say, well, you know, that's how it is sometimes. I'm telling you, in my opinion, it's a big deal. Big enough that if my wife would have said, well, I'm never, ever going to, you know, be getting up early and stuff like that, I might have said, well, maybe this isn't a good choice. But we didn't talk about that. I'm mentioning it to you now. Let me know how important you think that would be when you're actually living with somebody. Language. Sometimes a Filipina's language will not be so good. I find that they speak better English than they spell. You got to do both if you're going to be living in an English-speaking country. But the inability to communicate is extremely frustrating. It's basic stuff. You have something you want to tell her, something you want to point out, pour out your heart to her about something, and you know, she just doesn't understand what you're saying, and you're never going to sometimes be sure if she ever did understand. You might nod her head, yes, and you're not sure if she understands or not. Let me know what you think about this one too. Language, would that be a deal breaker for you? How much language or language compatibility would you need? My wife English has gotten better. You know, she was 27 when she got here in 2016. So her English is better, but she's learned Spanish too. About a year or so ago, she started to learn Spanish, and now she basically is fluent in Spanish. She's a very bright woman, and language comes easily to her. But some people are marrying women, I think maybe taking a chance on the language barrier, I would call it. And they're going to need to be around English-speaking people, I guess, if they're going to come to an English-speaking country. And even when they learn it in the Philippines, they often don't practice it when they get home with their family members who don't speak English. So keep that in mind. Another one I jotted down here was temper or temperament. A woman, if she's displaying a bad temper, if she's displaying that, would be one to avoid. Not trying to be judgmental. I just am trying to be helpful here. Bad temper would be not good. If she tends to have a bad disposition, maybe tending towards, I don't know, depression or anger or criticism, you know, I'm saying just a bad temperament. Is that going to get better when you marry her? This is where it helps to be around her in person, if possible, to gauge something like this, to know if it should be a deal breaker for you. Then one more, her gut feel, or your gut feel about her interest. Do you feel that she's really interested? And I think a lot of times things progress quickly with a foreigner in Filipina, and there isn't time to really evaluate her answers, behavior, body language, you know, just a gut feeling. Like if she's always, for example, late when you go to talk to her. You set up something, you get it all figured out, time zone difference worked out, and then you call her, text her, whatever you're doing, and she's not there. Or she's there, but always 20, 30 minutes late. Now, there is such a thing called Filipino time. But with a relationship, I think you have to be on time. And you have to tell her, look, you know, you're making me wait. In this country, there's no Filipino time. You have to be on time. And I want you to be on time when I call you, because it's disrespectful not to be. So if that keeps happening, hopefully you're taking that to heart and thinking something isn't right here. Or if she just doesn't want to go on video chats. I had to get a camera when I started my search for a Filipino wife. I never had a camera before, and but everybody I talked to early on, which is like the first 3 or 4 days, 4 or 5 women, they all easily went to webcam, no problem, and they were very comfortable on camera. Some guys have trouble getting them on video camera, where you get to see a lot more and see their environment. But if she says she's not going to do that, I would question that. Anything about gut feel. And if something is gnawing away at you, you know, you can always leave a comment here in any video. It doesn't even have to do with the topic. You can email me at lovebeyondtheSea.your@gmail.com. The 4 is the number 4. I've been trying to put that on the thumbnails. lovebeyondtheSea@gmail.com. Any, you know, gut feel, doesn't feel right. There's other women you can marry. It doesn't have to be that one. Please talk to somebody about, you know, from their perspective, if you might be making a mistake. You have nothing to lose and everything to gain if you're not comfortable with something, whatever it is. Maybe the way she talks to you isn't respectful. Maybe she doesn't seem to be paying a lot of attention. Or you want longer conversations and they tend to get short. Initially, you're going to give them the benefit of the doubt. I understand. But if something keeps happening, you start wondering, you know, well, I've invested so much time in this person. Do I really want to throw it all away now? You might have to. It might be the best thing to do. So these 2 videos about deal breakers, and let me know what you think about some deal breakers here on Love Beyond the Sea.